The Rebel Capitalist Show. How strong do you think the network effect is of a Facebook, let's say? Because, you know, you always hear this, that they have monopoly position. No one can possibly compete with them. And as, you know, Musk has said that he's a free speech absolutist. And I would say that for me, I'm almost a free market capitalism absolutist, you know, meaning that I get very hesitant to try to solve this problem of censorship with more and more government, right?
Yeah.
So I always kind of wonder that, is it true that Google has a complete monopoly that no one could ever disrupt, or Facebook as an example? Like, how strong is that network effect? Or is this something that we have just seen in the past? Therefore, we kind of have this recency bias where we extrapolate it indefinitely into the future. And maybe it's not so much of a monopoly or a position of strength, because, as you know, the bigger you get, it's more money, more problems. You know, you just got different types of problems. So those smaller competitors do have an edge. There's pros and cons there of being a behemoth. And do you think maybe they don't have as much of an edge because the younger generations coming up, you know, they don't care about Facebook. They only care about TikTok, or they care about Snapchat or something like this. And therefore, you know, in the next 10 years, Facebook is just going to experience this kind of attrition because of the age demographic. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of free market capitalism is people will put their money where they'll vote with their money, and so network effects are very strong, right? There's a very good book called Seven Powers, and it talks about the seven powers of like the best businesses out there. Network effects are one of the seven powers, and you know, when you think about Facebook, you know, what they're really good at is actually acquiring. They haven't really been good at building over the last couple of years, right? Like they've acquired Oculus, they've acquired Instagram, WhatsApp. They tried to acquire some of these other ones and try to build like TikTok competitors. Now, here's the thing: we've seen this movie before, because MySpace was number one before. You know, back then there was Friendster. Like, if the product starts to suck, then people will just vote with their attention, or they'll vote with their money too, or maybe both of them. And so right now, TikTok is an amazing product because and I don't use it a ton, but when I do log in, I can see why it's so addicting, because it's like video after video after video, and it's like everything that I'm interested in, right? So that's a product that's working. So I think
that's when you say their algorithm gives them an edge, because they are delivering to your homepage pretty much exactly. They're reading your mind almost.
Correct. Yeah. And so that's just great product design, right? So I think whoever creates great products over time are going to win, which is why, like Elon, if you look at the products that he's created over time, like whether you love him or hate him, he's like objectively added more value to society, right? And so that's how I look at it. I don't think it's a winner take all type of deal. And I also, the SEC is paying a lot more attention to these acquisitions now, so I don't think it's going to be like a crazy monopoly, right? I do think, you know, like a Facebook or a Google right now, like if we go into heavy inflationary times, like long term, it's like those seem like pretty obvious, like inflation hedges, but this is not financial advice. So
all right, so talk about Web3 and the metaverse. I mean, on this channel, I make fun of the metaverse all the time, but maybe there's something to it that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, so I come from a gaming background, right? And what is kind of bizarre to me right now is people paying like, you know, $2.5 million for land in a metaverse, because we don't even know what's going to stick. And games are typically very fleeting, right? People, again, once the attention goes to like the new hot product out there, the new hot game, people are going to move their attention over there, right?
Yeah, and this is not the first time. I remember back in Farmville. Remember Farmville?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the metaverse is exactly like Farmville, but then there was something else after Farmville where it was like you could have an avatar. What was it? It was there was like it was a big deal. It was a very trendy thing where you had this avatar. It was like some second world or something like that, but it's basically you could live your life as this avatar online. It seems very similar to the metaverse. Maybe this is just the new rendition of that, but
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, like, you know, when I used to play these games, these massively online multiplayer games, MMORPGs like World of Warcraft or EverQuest, I've logged like 120 days, right? Or 70 days. Like this is like almost like a year of my life, like in these games. And so I know how these things are. And like I've talked to the founder of Twitch, right? They sold it for almost $1 billion to Amazon. And we have the same take. I asked him, I was like, dude, like, what do you think about this? Like same type of thing that I just gave, right? It's like, we don't really know what's going to stick. And what seems to make a lot more sense is investing into the infrastructure of Web3. It's the stuff that powers Web3, right? Whether you're investing into like infrastructure startups or like these layer one tokens, like a Ethereum, for example, right? Or Solana. So that's where I'm at with it. I think it's a bit too early right now. And typically with startups, what kills startups, the number one thing is typically poor timing, right? So I think metaverse is kind of out there. Maybe next 5-10 years, we're going to see more practical use cases. And then Web3, to me, that encompasses crypto. That's like DeFi, that's NFTs. That's all the stuff that's being built right now. So I do believe in Web3. And here's the final thing I'll say on this. There will be no Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. Like in 5-10 years, we're just going to say the internet again. Like we're just upgrading the infrastructure of the internet, the foundation of the internet. And I think it's cool. It's trendy to say Web 3 right now. It's more so like a marketing term to me.
Yeah. And that might even be where you are too in Miami, because as of, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I'd never even heard the term Web 3. So being around people that are kind of neck deep in that tech space and the NFTs and the crypto, I think that it may seem a lot more popular than it is if you were in Kansas City, Missouri, or Iowa or something like that. But not to say that it's not a trend, because usually, as you know, the trends are set on the coasts.
Totally. I think it's New York's probably number one in terms of people that are building in this space right now. And then, Miami is like a nice hub as well. And then LA kind of, you see people building, like the entertainers building stuff too. And SF is still always good despite all the kind of exodus there. But like the thing I'll say about kind of the Web3 trend is a lot of the VC dollars are going here, right? Like for better or worse. And it does feel a lot like 1999. So we'll see what happens.
It's usually the cycle, isn't it? Where everything, whatever it is, Web 1.0 or 2.0 or 3.0, everyone gets super, super excited about it. It's the future. It's this, it's this, it's this. And 99% of the businesses go bust and all these people lose money. But the 1%, that's your Amazon, or those are the companies that really do last. And those are the ones that everyone was excited about. They just got excited about too many of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at investing right now, all of these startups in Web3 are because there's a Web3 stamp on it, are raising at least at like a $50 million, $100 million valuation.
Stamp, same thing.
Yeah, no revenue, right? Or something like, so for example, there's one startup there's a very famous athlete that you and I both know. The startup's revenue is $6 million, right? And the valuation is $2 billion, right? So I can't invest at that valuation. So.
Right, exactly.